Good morning, dear listeners. Today we have a new episode of the No Age Ontology podcast series based on my book No Age Ontology, which is a compendium of spiritual and wisdom teachings and hermetic teachings pointing out the timelessness of all phenomena. And today, on a more relative level, we speak about the 5 elements and the 5 emotions and the relations between them. So according to the Eastern wisdom traditions, the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, and space that constitutes our environment are intrinsically connected to the 5 disturbing emotions. So these elements are not to be understood in a strictly material sense, but rather a symbolic representation of different aspects of our experience and consciousness, and each element is associated with a certain disturbing emotion and also different psychological traits, and this information can be found in different source texts from the Tibetan Bon and Buddhist tradition to the Chinese medicine traditions and also the Hindu traditions, slightly with different variations. Here it's more in the book I speak more from the perspective of the Tibetan Buddhist and Bon traditions, but also from Chinese. Some of this information can be found in Chinese medicine texts. So the earth element represents stability, support, and ground. So the emotion associated with earth is a sense of solidity, which can manifest as stability and reliability, but also it can also manifest in a stubbornness and close-mindedness. It can lead to inflexibility or being overly attached to one's own views. So there are 2 aspects. Water symbolizes flow, change, adaptability. The emotion associated is desire, attachment, which can manifest as longing, craving, clinging to experiences or material appearances. And then we have fire, which represents transformation and power. The emotion is associated with fire is anger, aggression, which can manifest as intense emotions in general, but also in the positive sense as creativity, on a negative sense as competitiveness and the potential for harmful action, so the burning sort of aspects of fire. Air represents movement, expansions, and lightness. The emotion associated with air is jealousy or envy, which can arise from a sense of inadequacy or the desire to possess what others people have. Space, which might not be found in Western explanations of some in some texts. Space is not included, but in the Oriental text, space represents openness, expansiveness, and potential for anything to arise. The emotion associated with space is ignorance or confusion. Ignorance in the sense of not knowing the nature of reality, but also a kind of confusion, general confusion of the mind, which can manifest as lack of understanding, delusion, clouded perception, etc. But also on a positive sense, space represent a sort of the potential and the space that we can give to ourselves and to others. So it has both elements. So these elements and their associated emotions should not be considered as like good or bad, but rather a part of the human experiences. And the wisdom teachings in Tibetan Buddhism emphasize recognizing these emotions, understanding their nature, cultivating mindfulness and compassion, and the transformation of their negative qualities into positive qualities. The ultimate aim is to free oneself from suffering, cultivate wisdom and compassion as 2 wings to benefit and liberate all sentient beings. So that's the idea behind. So this is just a brief introduction. Some more information can be found in the book, and thank you for listening.